any stretch of the imagination, you probably would not want to be defended by me. But you would need to seek legal counsel at that point, and that is something that we may be called in on to speak as to the actual condition of the home, the structural resilience of the home, all of that. And watch this, I'm going to segue back. Call the MAC, okay, the Mobile Home Assistance Center. File a complaint with the Mobile Home Assistance Center, and we will do what we can within the scope of the law to do so. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know what recourse the residents have for approaching management on repairing erosion behind the mobile home that was in place when the home was built and with that code. The mobile home park manager says there's something wrong. Who do we go to next step, please?
Okay, so her question dealt specifically with erosion on an existing lot that you feel is unsafe. Management is saying, nah, it's fine. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, these are good questions. I didn't expect this today. Erosion is one of those things, again, that's kind of iffy, okay? Now, if, again, Mobile Home Assistance Center, you can file a complaint against the park owner in regards to what you feel to be erosion that may have an adverse effect upon your home, okay? The Mobile Home Assistance Center, folks, it is a great, great tool. Put it out to all of your people, okay? And I don't need any more complaints. I currently have 419 that are open. I have 27 inspectors that, you know, among, well, you want to know my numbers? I'll tell you my numbers if you want to hear them. Yeah? All right. He wants to hear, nobody ever was like, no, we don't care. So the numbers that I put out in my weekly report, in fact, on Wednesday to my boss is a gentleman by the name of Kyle Kraus. He is Deputy Director for the Department of Housing and Community Development. If you'd like, I'll give you his number. Y'all call him, don't call me. I'll give you Mitchell Baker's number too. Anyways, no, don't do that because I'll get yelled at, probably get fired. Then I'll be looking at one of you guys for a job. So my numbers as of, I think it was Wednesday, I have currently 6,943 open permits. Okay, and this is in the southern area. So Fresno County to Mexico, C to Nevada, Arizona-ish, where you know, we kind of roll into Arizona a little bit for parks. That's freaky where I talk about that. Let's see, I've got 408 or 409 open complaints right now. I've got, what else do I have? I've got 919 actually open inspections that are attached to permits that are closed. Not quite sure how the hell that happened, but I'm working on that. So we're small. I have 26 inspectors that cover that vast area. And understand that about 1 in every 3 mobile homes in the state reside in Riverside County. If you look at the numbers, I've got 11 counties that my inspectors are responsible compared to the northern area. I think they've got, what is the rest of it, whatever's left. And I do 2/3 more work per year because that LA corridor, that 710, 605, Costa Mesa, coastal area right there, it's packed. There's a lot of parks in there, so my numbers are pretty staggering. But, so that kind of gives you an idea. So when you call in and go, hey, I filed a complaint, it's been 30 days and I haven't heard anything, unless it is an imminent threat in nature. Okay, so one, the hill is sliding into my house, that's a problem. Okay, there's raw sewage flowing out of the manholes, that's definitely a problem. You call me, we will get somebody there very quickly. Yes?
How many, do you happen to know how many mobile home parks and spaces there are in California?
I do know that. I will give you my card. I do know that. I do not know it off the top of my head, and I don't want to make it up. Yes, ma'am.
I have it.
She has it. Awesome.
It's from your May report. Let's see. There are 5,271 active mobile home and RV parks with 453,778 lots.
That sounds about
And Mary Jo and Don got this from your office.
Yeah, and that sounds about right. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I got 5-minute warning.
Somebody says that it's 20.
question was, when a complaint is filed, who's the first person we talk to? We go to the complainant, all right? So we'll show up and Mr. Markley here made a complaint that his neighbor's tree was smashing into his house. We're going to go see Mr. Markley first, and I'm using you, sir, only because you're sitting here, and God, I hope I didn't kill your name. You know, we're going to go see that individual first. Yes, ma'am.
My question is there any way to find out what 5% of the parks you're investigating, or do you have a list online of the ones from last year?
No, that is not public information. I can tell you that we do not target parks. It is usually randomly generated. What I try to do is say, okay, I want you to say, I want you to take your worst 3 parks in your area, and I will go to my inspectors. And if this is, you tell me what the worst 3 are, you're going to inspect those, and then you choose me, we'll choose 3 others at random. And it's usually 6 per inspector. So if you call me, I can tell you if your park is subject to inspection, but I can't tell you anything other than that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, hi. Good morning, and thank you for having this meeting for us. My name is Patricia, and I live in the city of Covina.
Okay.
And my question to you is this. I've been living this for 2 time,
Okay.
but I have a big concern.
Okay.
A while back, they had said that our meters were, old and the gas was leaking. I did know, my meters from our gas. So I called management and I told them to come and check my meter. They explained that there was nothing wrong, nothing was wrong, there's no leakage, whatever. Supposedly somebody had came by and checked it. Well, I need to the store one day. When I come back, my meters changed. Okay, well, again, we had a meeting. A lot of meters were having gas leakage.
Okay.
Then now, we have the pipes in the bottom for the water old, and we smell gas, but again, if the management or corporate, when we call, they tell us, no, that's wrong, something wrong with you guys, whatever. Okay, my question to you is this. I will complain, I will bring out my concern,
Okay.
but I also have been retaliated on because my family members have gotten beat up by management because I spoke out. Now, I'm not afraid, I'm here alone. I don't care to speak out, and I will continue speaking out for all of us and for myself, of course, and my family. Now, I disagree. We sometimes, last year we had about 12 managers in 1 year. Everybody changing the rules. We cannot even have internet because it's too much for them to fix it, to put it on. We have a moldy wash room, to wash the clothes, which I complain about. And the only thing they do is they go and sweep and mop, but that's about it. Now, I'm trying to say is like, for example, if I call someone, it's always somebody in there working for them that comes and fix everything. And they never tell me when they're going to come in my space or where's my money.
So talk to me once this is over. Again, this goes back to the Mobile Home Assistance Center. You can file your complaint with the Mobile Home Assistance Center anonymously. We're still going to want to know who you are because eventually I'm going to want to talk to you or my inspector is going to want to talk to you. Now, one, retaliation. If somebody in your family is being beat up by management, call the cops.
Yeah.
Well, I
Okay,
have.
immediately.
I'm
Because,
sorry, but I have the Covina police did not do anything.
and unfortunately, as the department, there's not much yeah.
So we don't get anywhere because it's hard for us to get a lawyer. Why? Because obviously, like I had a home and I went into a mobile home thinking it's going to be my retirement. My kids are grown, they're
Right.
out.
In regards to the systems, though, the actual for the gas, they're depending upon who owns the system. If it's owned by the park, okay. Talk to me after this. I will point you in the direction you need to go. Yes, yes, ma'am, in the corner.
So can someone, if they have a problem where they fear retaliation, can you promise them anonymity, even though you're going to talk to them? Can you tell them you won't tell the park manager their name?
I will tell you that when you file a complaint and you file it under an anonymous basis, I do not tell park management who filed the complaint. That is your right as the individual filing the complaint. Now, whether or not management makes an assumption, I unfortunately can't control that. But what I can tell you is that if you request to remain anonymous through the Mobile Home Assistance Center, you will remain anonymous through the Mobile Home Assistance Center. Yes, sir.
I'm going to say one more question and then we got to be done here, but you can stay and chat after.
Okay, I make that off. Oh, okay, yes, sir.
So I live in a park that is very mountainous and hilly, and
Where are you at?
in Laguna Beach.
Okay.
And there is not proper fire hydrants. There's not proper spaces for a fire truck to get through. We've been told that by the fire department, and the owners will not trim any of the shrubbery around to keep it from starting on fire.
So this
What
is,
do we do about that?
yeah, okay. A lot of the coastal communities were way back in the day. These are usually very established older parks. The department, prior to me even being here, probably prior to me being alive, they allowed certain things, okay? And again, we have taken a tight turn, we've adjusted. If the fire department feels, or if you as a resident feel that that needs to be trimmed, this is what you need to do. You need to go to the fire department, complain to the fire department will complain to me. Once they complain to me, then I can enforce it. Okay, that is the way really that it works. Unfortunately, I can't make them widen the roads because again, the laws are very clear. When parks were established within certain dates, there were certain requirements. And unless they do a massive rework of the park, I can't make them widen it. It's the law. So
Can you make them follow the law?
I can make them follow the law. So if again, and understand, my people are not arborists. Okay, my people are inspectors. You know, and they're going to go in and what you would say needs to be trimmed, I would go, you know, and vice versa.
Now I'm just asking, if you have a law and they're not abiding by the law, can you enforce it? Are you an enforcement agency?
I can enforce the code. I can enforce Title 24, Title 25 in federal code, and I can enforce certain portions of the MRL if they affect Title 25 and 24. If it does not affect construction code, the MRL, I can't enforce it. You'd have to seek legal counsel with that. No problem.
We're really running out of time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have
One last question.
I'll be quick,
You'll
I
have to
promise.
speak
I'll be
with
quick.
Which phone number do we call?
Okay,
On here?
there's that 1-800-897-3, what is it, 3456?
Senator Leyva is here and she's ready to take over the floor. Let me say one more thing. Matt is going to be available in the back or even outside, so if you want to speak with him a little further, you can do so. Also, let me tell you that what he is actually referring to when he's talking about codes, he's talking about health and safety. That's what HCD is titled to enforce, health and safety. So, thank you very much, Matt. We really appreciate everything that is this your briefcase down here?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, real quick,
Thank you.
I want to say thank you. He has some of my cards. I only brought a few of them. I don't want to get into Senator Leyva's, take up her time. But again, the Mobile Home Assistance Center is a great thing. It's the 800 number on the bottom. Please use it, folks. The tax waiver program, make the phone call, ask the questions. It is a great program. It is here to help you. Put it out in your parks. At any point in time, call that 800 number. They can help you. And thank you for having me. You folks have a great day.
Okay, that was HCD, state agency. Now, we're pleasured and honored to have Senator Connie Leyva come to speak to us. So let me introduce Connie, and you may use the microphone if you like. We got a lot of
Call the office. I will go to Senator Sabisco and speak.
But can you hear me if I speak like this? No? All right, I think so. Well, good morning. My name is Connie Leyva, and I'm very proud to be the senator that represents this area. And I'm so excited that I am the chair of the Select Committee on Mobile and Manufactured Homes. Yes. when I was elected 4 years ago, you get elected and they put you on all these different committees and they ask you to do this and that, and they said, well, we would like you to be, they being rules in the Senate, we would like you to be the chair of this committee. And I said, oh, all right, well, since I spent the first 18 months of my life, not in the manufacturer of mobile home, but in a trailer, because I was born in Kansas, my dad was in the service, so I grew up, I had my first 18 months, I was in a 10 by 30 foot trailer. I know I'm not allowed to say that anymore, but that's what it was 51 years ago. So I said, I would love to be a part of this committee and chair it, because I think that mobile home and manufactured homes are the last bastion of affordable housing. Yes, sir.
You're just the person I would want to see.
Well, can I finish my speech?
I have a very important question for you.
Okay.
The procedures for raising the rent
Yes. That's
is
part of what I want to talk
absolutely,
about.
emphatically wrong. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, just a minute. It's a very important point. I am a retired Army officer. I get Army pay. I also get Social Security. About 90% of the park I live in are under the same thing, except not military. But the manager of our park uses a method for raising the rent of the index, pricing index. But the federal government uses cost of living to give me a raise in pay and everybody in the park. And everybody who's on retirement pay, they go under the same method. I checked into what the difference is between price index, cost of living. Cost of living is the bare essentials. Clothing, food, transportation, basics. Price index covers diamond, alcohol, cigarettes, everything that we don't need to live with. Price index. Now, put the icing on the cake. My pay for cost of living was not raised on 3 separate occasions. And 3 separate occasions, management increased our rent by price index. When is Congress or somebody going to change the law to protect the people who are retired, especially the United States Army?
Well, first, let me say thank you for your service, sir. We greatly appreciate you. And let me be very clear. I am a state senator. I am not a U.S. senator. There are 2 fine women who do that. So I have no control over. My mom and dad are retired as well. My dad is retired from the Army as well. He gets the same cost of living increases or doesn't. So the problem is with the federal government. I would love to help on that, but I don't have any power to help on that.
All right. I spoke to the other senator, too. She gave me the same thing.
Yeah. Well, is she a U.S. senator or is she a state senator?
The U.S. senator.
Okay, so you spoke to Feinstein?
No.
Did you speak to Kamala Harris?
Another.
Kamala Harris?
Over at San Diego.
Okay, I don't think that may not have been a U.S. senator. Because, sir, if I could have some impact on the federal government, God knows I would. It is a mess. It is a mess. And I appreciate your question, and I actually have it in my notes. I'm going to talk about rent control. But if I may get back to what I want to speak to you about, I would greatly appreciate that. I think I have some things that would be helpful. So, I also want to thank Matthew from HCD. When I first took over this position, the very first book I read was the MRL. My first week when I was in the state senate, because I didn't have TV at my apartment, so I needed something to do. So I read the MRL cover to cover, and I realized 2 things. 1, I had a lot to learn, and 2, it's a lot for all of you to digest as well. So I said, you know what, I want to go out and start talking, having town halls, and talking to residents in mobile home parks to make sure that you know what your rights are, number 1, and 2, make sure you know that you have access to us. I get a consultant who is in Sacramento, and his name is Eric Guerra. You can call him anytime. I wore out the first one. She retired because I made her work too hard, and that's fine. Because I think it's a big job, and I think it's a very important job. Someone had the statistics of how many mobile home parks and spaces there are. Thank you for that. I just want you to know that every single time I present a bill, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the legislation I've done, every single time I present a bill in either the Senate or the Assembly, I make sure that every single senator or Senate person knows how many parks and how many spaces are in their district. Because I think our mobile and manufactured home parks get overlooked a lot of times. And I feel that my job for the last 4 years has been to make sure that people know that you're there and that you need us. I got familiar with HCD because we had some calls, some very serious issues. One of the parks was here in Pomona. We had 2 parks with a typhus outbreak in 2015. I did not even know typhus was still around. I thought we had taken care of that. Well, the problem was, because we didn't get it fixed, is that there were so many feral cats, and the park manager wasn't doing anything about it. So I authored legislation to make sure that all park managers actually are trained, so they don't just go, we pick you to be our park manager. Because so many park managers we found really don't have any skills to do their job. We don't think that they really want to do a bad job, but they also don't know how to do a good job. I will tell you, it has been 4 years. I have still not been able to get that bill passed because the owners of the parks hate it. We are closer than we were 4 years ago, and I will keep working on it because I think it's incredibly important. If they're trained, then they know what to do, and hopefully our folks are living in a better environment and the parks are cleaner. What we also discovered when we found out there was a typhus outbreak was that everybody went like this when it came to who's going to handle it. Does HCD do it? Does the health department do it? Is the city in charge? Nobody wanted to take charge. So we took charge and we called everyone. I see part of my job as untangling the framework that is out there because it should be easy for all of you also to know who you should call when you have a problem. What I would say to you now when you have a problem is to call our office, talk to Eric Guerra, and he can point you in the right direction if we can't flat help you ourselves. But I want to thank Matthew from HCD just because they've done a really great job and we've kind of been on them to do their job a little bit better because it is important for you guys to live in a safe and a clean environment. One of the parks I visited also didn't have proper electricity. The electrical wires were tied to trees. And when I toured that, I said, you know, this is 2016. I kind of think that we can do a better job. So it took us about a year, but we were able to get that situation fixed as well. What I've learned by being the chair of this committee is that you have to care. And a lot of people just don't care. When we did these town hall meetings, we thought, oh, I see one of my friends in the very back there. How are you? When we started these town hall meetings, it was so I could hear and I could listen to what your concerns are. I'll talk about the bills that we have had signed into legislation, but before that, I want to talk about the rent control. So people say all the time, Connie, can you do rent control? Can you offer a bill for rent control? And I said, yeah, if you want us to screw it up. I said, the state will screw it up. It has to go city by city. The cities that have the best rent control place have gone to their city councils, and that takes everyone banding together. And they go to their city council, and that's how you get rent control. We have some cities that have done it, and they are in good shape. We have other folks who have not gone to their city council, have not done it. They have similar issues to what you have, sir, similar problems. I have said to people, no one has taken me up on it, but I've said to people, I will teach you how to be organized. I come from the labor movement. I spent 25 years, actually 30 years, 20 years working in my local union as an organizer. I will teach you how to do it. I can't do it for you because every city is different, every park is different. You know your issues better than I do, but I can teach you how to be organized. And I can tell you that if you don't band together, what I've learned from talking to everyone and from all my years in the labor movement, many times people want someone else to fix the problem. We have to band together. You have to band together with people in your park or in your community if you want change. We will give you the tools, we will tell you who to talk to, we will help you with anything, but I don't live there. So I'm not as good a voice as you are. You live there, you see what happens every single day. So we do have some parks that have rent control because they have gone to their city councils and there's a rent control ordinance. The reason it wouldn't work at the state level is because rent control for San Francisco is going to be a lot different from San Bernardino, is going to be a lot different from San Diego. So if you don't do it unique to your area, then what might be great in San Francisco isn't going to be great in San Bernardino County or Riverside County. So how much time do I have, Michelle?
You know, I see there's an hour.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe let's go for a half hour.
You got it. Okay. I just don't ever want to take more time. I will do questions, but let me tell you a little bit about some of the legislation that we did. So these are 3 pieces of legislation that the governor signed last year, SB 136, and this helps open up, there's a $40 million fund where residents can get together and you can buy your park. The parks that I've been in that are resident-owned tend to be much, much nicer and better for the residents if they're not owned by some corporation that's not even in the state. So there's $40 million sitting in a pot. This makes it easier for you and your park to access that money. If you are interested, you can call us and we will help you with that. SB 329, this increases access to affordable housing by making sure that all state and local programs facilitate homeownership to include manufactured and mobile home parks. What that means is that prior to this bill, you couldn't borrow, you had to get a chattel loan. Many of you are familiar with that. I'd never heard of a chattel loan until I became the chair of this committee. And a chattel loan can sometimes be like a credit card loan. The interest rates are higher and you can't borrow against it. With this now this is the law, you can now get a traditional loan from a bank, from a credit union. You don't have to use a chattel loan, and you can also borrow against it. A lot of our residents in our mobile home parks, their children are grown, but not all of them. Some of them have children, they might need to borrow a little money to send them to college.
What's the name of that bill?
It's SB 329, Senate Bill 329. And SB 542, this cleans up the process when mobile homeowners sell or transfer their home. We found that there were just huge problems, again, like this, trying to undo it a little bit. When you transfer your car, the license that you transfer to someone else, there were a lot of problems doing that if you were selling your mobile or manufactured home. This bill cleans it up, makes the process much easier.
What was the first bill?
The first bill was SB 136.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 136, 329, and 542 were signed into law and went into effect January 1 of this year. Last year, I also worked on SB 3, which is a housing bill. I negotiated $30 million in that. It's going to the voters, so you're going to vote on it in November. Make sure you vote yes for this. It will allocate $30 million to help with the rehabilitation of parks, with people's homes. I went and visited a manufactured home park manufacturer up in Northern California, and it's so great to see things with your own eyes. You guys know because you live in them, but so many people think that mobile and manufactured homes are not nice. They're as nice as stick-built houses. The place that I toured, they are beautiful. So SB 3 will help this $30 million. If you guys vote on it, it will be on the ballot in November. This will help people to take an older home that maybe it was built in the 70s and replace it with a newer home. So there will be money for people to access. This year we have authored SB 1130, which would allow seniors and those who are disabled to access the California Tax Postponement Program. This is a program that you used to have access to. You used to have access to it before the recession. And then during the recession, they took it all away for everyone. Stick-built homes and mobile manufactured homes. They brought it back a couple of years ago for stick-built homes, but they didn't bring it back for mobile homes, mobile home residents. So this bill has cleared the Senate. It's over in the Assembly. So we're moving, but it is by no means a slam dunk. So I'm going to say it again, SB 1130. Gizmo is helping us with this, but it would be great once it gets to the governor's office for all of you to either write letters or call the governor's office and let him know how important it is. He's not super excited about the program, so we need to work to make him get excited about the program. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit about how important it is for all of us, as I said earlier, to work together. You heard me say I started in the labor movement. And when I worked for Alpha Beta, I bet you guys remember Alpha Beta, right? Oh, yeah. Thank you. I talk to younger people that I come. And I said, yeah.